day 2 of the 2019 NJCAA National Championships for swimming and diving. We begin day 2 with the preliminaries for the women's 50-yard backstroke. Swimming in lane 2, Selena Howard, Barton. Lane 3, Megan Harrell, South Georgia State. Lane 4, Jillian Kontich, Indian River. Lane 5, Zoe Beals, Iowa Central. Lane 6, Courtney Sapp, Indian River. And in lane 7, Margaret Murray of the Fashion Institute. Touching first with a time of 28:01 from lane number 4, Jillian Kontich of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 28:73, lane 5, Zoe Beals, Iowa Central. Touching third with a time of 29:33, lane 6, Courtney Sapp of Indian River. And now heat 2 of the women's 50-yard backstroke preliminaries. Swimming in lane 2, Emily DeClerc, Monroe. In lane 3, Aubrey Leonards, South Georgia State. Lane 4, Michaela Seimiller, Barton. Lane 5, Juliana Villa Rodriguez, Iowa Lakes. Lane 6, Abigail Fry, Barton. And in lane 7, Libby Richardson of Genesee. Touching first with a time of 27:08 from lane 4, Michaela Seimiller of Barton. Touching second with a time of 27:64, lane 5, Juliana Villa Rodriguez, Iowa Lakes. Touching third with a time of 29:86, lane 2, Emily DeClerc of Monroe. This is heat 3 of the women's 50-yard backstroke preliminaries. Swimming in lane 1, Natalie Amico, Genesee. In lane 2, Sarah Childs, Barton. Lane 3, Kristen Farless, South Georgia State. Lane 4, Piper Engler, Southwestern Oregon. Lane 5, Patricia Ozola, Southwestern Oregon. Lane 6, Kaylee Kornowski, South Georgia State. And in lane 7, Lauren Adamson of Southwestern Oregon. Touching first with a time of 27:05 from lane 5, Patricia Ozola from Southwestern Oregon. Touching second with a time of 27:22, lane 4, Piper Engler, Southwestern Oregon. Touching third with a time of 28:24, lane 3, Kristen Farless of South Georgia State. This is heat 1 of the men's 50-yard backstroke preliminaries. Swimming in lane 2, Isaac Panzer, Barton. In lane 3, Ryan Buchkowski, South Georgia State. Lane 4, Ryan Van Wyck, Indian River. Lane 5, John Gill III, Iowa Central. Lane 6, Carlitos Sanchez, Genesee. Lane 7, David Garcia, Barton. Touching first with a time of 23:01, lane 4, Ryan Van Wyck of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 24:37, lane 5, John Gill III, Iowa Central. And touching third with a time of 25:13, lane 3, Ryan Butchkowski, South Georgia State. This is heat 2 of the men's 50-yard backstroke preliminaries. Swimming in lane 1, Jordan McGurk, Southwestern Oregon. In lane 2, Jonathan Pilot, Erie. Lane 3, Noah Childs, Barton. Lane 4, Wyatt Dalton, South Georgia State. Lane 5, Austin Turner, Southwestern Oregon. Lane 6, William Spitz, Barton. And in lane 7, Jake Wire of Southwestern Oregon. Touching first with a time of 24:10, lane 4, Wyatt Dalton of South Georgia State. Touching second with a time of 24:57, lane 5, Austin Turner of Southwestern Oregon. And touching third with a time of 25:17, lane 3, Noah Childs of Barton. This is heat 3 of the men's 50-yard backstroke preliminaries. Swimming in lane 1, Kaya Ingram, Southwestern Oregon. In lane 2, Stephen Smith, South Georgia State. Lane 3, Jacob Bonner, Iowa Lakes. Lane 4, Connor Lynch, Indian River. Lane 5, Jared Ingram, Indian River. Lane 6, Hunter Sherwood, Southwestern Oregon. And in lane 7, Andrew Oberg of Iowa Central. Touching first with a time of 22:61 from lane 5, Jared Ingram of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 22:64, lane 4, Connor Lynch, Indian River. Touching third with a time of 24:88, lane 3, Jacob Bonnert of Iowa Lakes. And now this is heat 1 of the women's 400-yard IM preliminaries. Swimming in lane 2, Liz Cruey Brown, Iowa Lakes. In lane 3, Annabeth Deck, South Georgia State. In lane 4, Paula Ronda, Iowa Central. Lane 5, Mary Marshall, Iowa Central. Lane 6, Stephanie Connell, South Georgia State. And in lane 7, Kayla Hennon, Barton. Touching first with a time of 4:44.91, lane 4, Paula Ronda of Iowa Central. Touching second with a time of 4:53.14, lane 5, Mary Marshall of Iowa Central. Touching third with a time of 5:04.26, lane 3, Annabeth Deck of South Georgia State. And now heat 2 of the women's 400-yard IM preliminaries. Swimming in lane 2, Jalen Astabilio of Southwestern Oregon. Lane 3, Verity Vogel-Rigler, Southwestern Oregon. Lane 4, Sule van der Merwe, Indian River. Lane 5, Adriana Rodriguez, Indian River. Lane 6, Gabby Reese of Iowa Lakes. And in lane 7, Samantha Pratt of Monroe. And now here are the results for the women's 50-yard backstroke. Second alternate, Natalie Amico. First alternate, Lauren Adamson. The consolation finalists in the women's 50-yard backstroke, Libby Richardson, Selena Howard, Sarah Childs, Aubrey Leonards, Abigail Fry, Emily DeClerc, Callie Karnowski, and Megan Harrell. Your championship finalists in the women's 50-yard backstroke, Courtney Sapp, Indian River, Zoe Beals, Iowa Central, Kristen Farless, South Georgia State, Jillian Contich, Indian River, Juliana Villa Rodriguez, Iowa Lakes, Piper Engler, Southwestern Oregon, and Michaela Seimiller, Barton Community College. The top qualifier in the women's 50-yard backstroke with a time of 27:05 from Southwestern Oregon, Patricia Ozola. Coaches, the time is now 9:43. You have 30 minutes to get in your scratches or intent to scratch. Touching first with a time of 4:38.08 from lane 4, Sule van der Merwe of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 4:47.29, lane 3, Verity Vogel Rigler of Southwestern Oregon. And touching third with a time of 4:57.89, lane 5, Adriana Rodriguez of Indian River. And now this is heat 1 of the men's 400-yard IM preliminaries. There was a disqualification in lane 2 of that last heat. And now this is heat 1 of the men's 400-yard IM preliminaries. Swimming in lane 2, Sean Williams of Barton. In lane 3, Colin McGuire, Southwestern Oregon. Lane 4, Christian Nishimura, Indian River. Lane 5, Orion Bopp, South Georgia State. In lane 6, Elliott Stewart, Southwestern Oregon. And in lane 7, Zachary Roberts of Monroe. And now here are the results for the men's 50-yard backstroke. Second alternate, Kaya Ingram. First alternate, Andrew Oberg. Consolation finalists, Carlito Sanchez, Stephen Smith, William Spitz, David Garcia, Hunter Sherwood, Jonathan Pilot, Isaac Panzer, and Noah Childs. The championship finalists in the men's 50-yard backstroke, Ryan Buchkowski, South Georgia State, Jacob Bonnert, Iowa Lakes, Austin Turner, Southwestern Oregon, John Gill III, Iowa Central, Wyatt Dalton, South Georgia State, Ryan Van Wyck, Indian River, Connor Lynch, Indian River, and the top qualifier with a time of 22:61 from Indian River, Jared Ingram. Coaches, the time is now 9:54. You have 30 minutes to get in your scratches or intent to scratch. Touching first with a time of 4:10.18 from lane number 4, Christian Nishimura of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 4:13.77, lane 3, Colin McGuire of Southwestern Oregon. And touching third with a time of 4:17.72, lane 5, Orion Bopp of South Georgia State. This is heat 2 of the men's 400-yard IM preliminaries. Swimming in lane 2, Alfonso Flores Romero of Iowa Central. In lane 3, Farron Martinez, Genesee. In lane 4, Ali Williamson, Indian River. In lane 5, Mariano Sosa, Iowa Central. Lane 6, Logan Black, South Georgia State. And in lane 7, Mason Teagle of Southwestern Oregon. Now the results for the women's 400-yard IM. Here are your championship finalists. Liz Cruey Brown, Iowa Lakes. Annabeth Deck, South Georgia State. Gabby Reese, Iowa Lakes. Adriana Rodriguez, Indian River. Mary Marshall, Iowa Central. Verity Vogel Rigler, Southwestern Oregon. Paula Ronda, Iowa Central. The top qualifier in the women's 400-yard IM with a time of 4:38.08 from Indian River, Sule Vander Merwe. Coaches, the time is now 9:59. You have 30 minutes to get your scratches or intent to scratch. Touching first with a time of 4:05.22 from lane 4, Ali Williamson of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 4:05.53, lane 5, Mariano Sosa of Iowa Central. Touching third with a time of 4:14.22, lane 3, Farron Martinez of Genesee. Now this is heat 3 of the men's 400-yard IM preliminaries. Swimming in lane 1, Samuel Cottrell of Monroe. In lane 2, Gregory Sanders, Monroe. In lane 3, Javier Aranda, Iowa Central. Lane 4, Jared Baxter, Indian River. Lane 5, Dante Padron, Indian River. Lane 6, Brett Rice of Southwestern Oregon. And swimming in lane 7, Matthew Bell of Southwestern Oregon. Touching first with a time of 3:56.10 from lane 4, Jared Baxter of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 4:13.11, lane 3, Javier Ronda, Iowa Central. And touching third with a time of 4:15.72, lane 5, Dante Padron of Indian River. And now this is heat 1 of the women's 100-yard butterfly preliminaries. Swimming in lane 2, Regan Smith Barton. In lane 3, Abigail Aldridge, South Georgia State. In lane 4, Emma Colvin of Indian River. In lane 5, Mayo Diaz, Iowa Central. In lane 6, Callie Anjovis, South Georgia State. And in lane 7, Lauren Parisi of the Fashion Institute. Touching first with a time of 56.54 from lane 4, Emma Colvin of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 1:00.26, lane 5, Mayo Diaz of Iowa Central. And touching third with a time of 1:00.65, lane 3, Abigail Aldridge of South Georgia State. And now this is heat 2 of the women's 100-yard butterfly preliminaries. Swimming in lane 2, Ashley Beecham, Iowa Central. In lane 3, Lindsay Garrison, South Georgia State. In lane 4, Sophia Diney, Indian River. Lane 5, Cameron Hudson, Indian River. Lane 6, Jillian Kontich, Indian River. And swimming in lane 7, Natalie Amico of Genesee. Touching first with a time of 55.98 from lane 4, Sophia Diney of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 57.63, lane 5, Cameron Hudson, Indian River. And touching third with a time of 1:01.52, lane 6, Jillian Kontich of Indian River. And now heat 1 of the men's 100-yard butterfly preliminaries. Lane 2, Logan Malecki, Indian River. Lane 3, Caleb Gaylor, Iowa Central. Lane 4, Michael Hartshorn, Indian River. Lane 5, Kevin Bargate, Indian River. Lane 6, Vincent Fletcher, Iowa Central. Lane 7, Garrett Nielsen, Iowa Lakes. Now the results for the men's 400-yard IM. Second alternate, Zachary Roberts. First alternate, Sean Williams. Consolation finalists, Alfonso Flores Romero, Matthew Bell, Mason Teagle, Gregory Sanders, Logan Black, Brett Rice, Elliott Stewart, and Orion Bopp. The championship finalists, Dante Padron, Ferran Martinez, Colin McGuire, Javier Ronda, Christian Nishimura, Mariano Sosa, Ollie Williamson, and the top qualifier with a time of 3:56.10 from Indian River, Jared Baxter. Coaches, the time is now 10:14. You have 30 minutes to get in your scratches or intent to scratch. Touching first with a time of 49:44 from lane 4, Michael Hartshorn of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 50:20 from lane 5, Kevin Bargate of Indian River. Touching third with a time of 52:12 from lane 3, Caleb Gaylor of Iowa Central. And now heat 2 of the men's 100-yard butterfly preliminaries. Swimming in lane 2, Gabriel Ozan, Barton. In lane 3, Marco Alvarez Sanchez, Barton. In lane 4, James Camp, Southwestern Oregon. In lane 5, Mitch Emery, Iowa Central. In lane 6, Alexander Ray, South Georgia State. And in lane 7, Sean Mahaney of Monroe. Touching first with a time of 48:29 from lane 5, Mitch Emery of Iowa Central. Touching second with a time of 48:39 from lane 4, James Camp of Southwestern Oregon. And touching third with a time of 50:71 from lane 3, Marco Alvarez Sanchez of Barton. This is heat 3 of the men's 100-yard butterfly preliminaries. Swimming in lane 1, Juan Brasenio of Iowa Lakes. In lane 2, Leonard Henri Alaru, Barton. Lane 3, Jackson Bloom, South Georgia State. Lane 4, Ruben Van Leeuwen, Indian River. Lane 5, Tucker Adams, Indian River. Lane 6, Blaine King, South Georgia State. And in lane 7, Ryan Mahaney of Genesee. Touching first with a time of 50.26 from lane 4, Ruben Van Leeuwen of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 50.55 from lane number 5, Tucker Adams of Indian River. And touching third with a time of 52.97 from lane 3, Jackson Bloom of South Georgia State. And now this is heat 1 of the women's 200-yard freestyle preliminaries. Swimming in lane 3, Blair Collette of Iowa Central. In lane 4, Alex Clifford, Erie. In lane 5, Aubrey Halla of Iowa Central, and in lane 6, Violet Hess of Monroe. Touching first with a time of 2:20.82 from lane number 4, Alex Clifford of Erie. Touching second with a time of 2:25.38, lane 3, Blair Collette of Iowa Central. Touching third with a time of 2:30.88, lane 6, Violet Hess of Monroe. And now this is heat 2 of the women's 200-yard freestyle preliminaries. Swimming in lane 1, Caroline Noble of Barton. Lane 2, Amanda Mashia, Herkimer. Lane 3, Lindsay Garrison, South Georgia State. Lane 4, Elizabeth Watts, Indian River. In lane 5, Eve Berg, Iowa Central. Lane 6, Kristen Farless, South Georgia State. In lane 7, Samantha Karazinski of the Fashion Institute. And in lane 8, Ashley Henwood of Barton. Now the results for the women's 100-yard butterfly. Your consolation finalists: Lauren Parisi, Natalie Amico, Ashley Beecham, and Callie Anjovi. The championship finalists for the women's 100-yard butterfly: Lindsay Garrison, South Georgia State; Jillian Kontich, Indian River; Regan Smith, Barton; Abigail Aldridge, South Georgia State; Mayo Diaz, Iowa Central; Cameron Hudson, Indian River; Emma Colvin, Indian River, and the top qualifier with a time of 55.98 from Indian River, Sophia Diney. Coaches, the time is now 10:25. You have 30 minutes to get in your scratches or intent to scratch. Touching first with a time of 1:54.16 from lane 4, Elizabeth Watts of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 2:00.18 from lane 5, Eve Berg of Iowa Central. And touching third with a time of 2:05.05 from lane 3, Lindsay Garrison of South Georgia State. Now this is heat 3 of the women's 200-yard freestyle preliminaries. Swimming in lane 1, Paula Noriega Rivera from Barton. In lane 2, Aubrey Leonard, South Georgia State. Lane 3, Alexandra Perez, Indian River. Lane 4, Molly Lady, Indian River. Lane 5, Kenzie Green of Indian River. Lane 6, Natalie Soive, Southwestern Oregon. And swimming in lane 7, Abby Ettinger of Erie. Here are the results for the men's 100-yard butterfly. Your consolation, or your second alternate, Garrett Nielsen, and first alternate, Logan Malecki. Consolation finalists: Gabrielle Ozan, Vincent Fletcher, Sean Mahaney, Ryan Mahaney, Leonard Henri Alaru, Blaine King, Alexander Ray, and Jackson Bloom. The championship finalists in the men's 100-yard butterfly: Caleb Gaylor, Iowa Central; Marco Alvarez Sanchez, Barton; Tucker Adams, Indian River; Ruben Van Leeuwen, Indian River; Kevin Bargate, Indian River; Michael Hartshorn, Indian River; James Camp, Southwestern Oregon; and the top qualifier with a time of 48.29 from Iowa Central, Mitch Emery. Coaches, the time is now 10:28. You have 30 minutes to get in your scratches or intent to scratch. Touching first with a time of 1:55.83 from lane number 5, Kenzie Green of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 1:56.65 from lane 4, Molly Lady of Indian River. And touching third with a time of 1:59.96 from lane 6, Natalie Soive, Southwestern Oregon. This is heat 4 of the women's 200-yard freestyle preliminaries. Swimming in lane 1, Selena Howard of Barton. In lane 2, Elizabeth Schrock, Barton. Lane 3, Juliana Villa Rodriguez, Iowa Lakes. Lane 4, Cameron Wheels, Indian River. Lane 5, Charlize Oberholzer, Indian River. Lane 6, Kaylee Kornowski, South Georgia State. In lane 7, Andrea Porch of Southwestern Oregon. And swimming in lane 8, Sydney Williams of Barton. Touching first with a time of 1:52.92 from lane 4, Cameron Wheels of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 1:55.29, lane 5, Charlize Oberholzer of Indian River. And touching third with a time of 1:58.88 from lane 3, Juliana Villa Rodriguez, Iowa Lakes. This is heat 1 of the men's 200-yard freestyle preliminaries. Swimming in lane 1, Dominic Bubb of Erie. Lane 2, Brandon Brown, Genesee. Lane 3, Jacob Singleton, Indian River. Lane 4, Marcelo Bush, Iowa Central. Lane 5, Jacob Bonnert, Iowa Lakes. Lane 6, Will Trinnell, Iowa Central. And swimming in lane 7, Eric Weiser of Iowa Central. Touching first with a time of 1:45.88 from lane 5, Jacob Bonnert of Iowa Lakes. Touching second with a time of 1:47.84, lane 4, Marcelo Bush of Iowa Central. Touching third with a time of 1:49.07 from lane 3, Jacob Singleton of Indian River. Now this is heat 2 of the men's 200-yard freestyle preliminaries. Swimming in lane 1, Evan Napper of Monroe. Lane 2, Christian Taylor of Barton. Lane 3, Landon Stallknocker, Southwestern Oregon. Lane 4, Tiger Pilkington, Indian River. Lane 6, Ryan Butchkowski, South Georgia State. In lane 7, Evan Fix of Genesee. And swimming in lane 8, Romeo Ortiz of Queensboro. Touching first with a time of 1:38.70 from lane 4, Tiger Pilkington of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 1:45.16, lane 3, Landon Stallknocker of Southwestern Oregon. Touching third with a time of 1:47.12 from lane 2, Christian Taylor of Barton. Now this is heat 3 of the men's 200-yard freestyle preliminaries. Swimming in lane 1, Asa Unruh of Barton. Lane 2, Tyler Stakowiak, Genesee. Lane 3, Vinnie Moles, Iowa Central. Lane 4, Joshua Stegan, Indian River. Lane 5, Andrew Woith, South Georgia State. Lane 6, Cameron Wagner, Monroe. Lane 7, Weston Head of Genesee. And swimming in lane 8, Zach Strom of Iowa Central. Now the results for the women's 200-yard freestyle. Second alternate, Aubrey Leonards. First alternate, Samantha Karazinski. Consolation finalists in the women's 200-yard freestyle, Amanda Mashia, Kaylee Kornowski, Kristen Farless, Abby Ettinger, Andrea Porch, Lindsay Garrison, Alexandra Perez, and Elizabeth Schrock. The championship finalists in the women's 200-yard freestyle, Eve Berg, Iowa Central. Natalie Soive, Southwestern Oregon. Juliana Villa-Rodriguez, Iowa Lakes. Molly Lady, Indian River. Kenzie Green, Indian River. Charlize Oberholzer, Indian River. Elizabeth Watts, Indian River. And the top qualifier with a time of 1:52.92 from Indian River, Cameron Wheels. Coaches, the time is now 10:41. You have 30 minutes to get in your scratches or intent to scratch. Touching first with a time of 1:42.56 from lane 4, Joshua Stegan of Indian River. Touching second with a time of 1:44.34 from lane 3, Vinnie Moles of Iowa Central. Touching third with a time of 1:48.82, lane 6, Cameron Wagner of Monroe. And that concludes the swimming portion of our preliminaries for day number 2. Diving will begin at approximately 1 p.m.